Good morning. It's going to be a hot one today. So we've got a few things going on today. I would like to do some spraying, but I don't know that the fields are going to be dry enough. So we may go do some scouting and looking around on that here in a little bit. We're going to work on the combine. Brock's going to be here shortly. So we're going to get the concaves changed around that we need to do, and see what else we got to do to just make sure we're ready for soybeans here. I know we got plenty of time, but it's here and we can do it, so I'm going to do that. I might also have Brock change oil in our Gator. It's going to need that here pretty quick, so it's kind of a shop day. All right, so I'm gonna get started working on this combine here. I backed it up a little bit so I can work on it better, and I took the side covers off of our rotor cage there, those two black ones and the other ones. Basically, we're gonna take these ones out and put the John Deere round bar concaves back in. And yeah, so we've got to take all these bolts out. I kind of got started there, but I want to get a piece of cardboard and slide underneath it so that they're a little easier to pull in and out. And should come out fairly easily, but we'll see. We got to take the covers off the other side so we can get the pins that are holding them in over there too. All right, well, I got the covers off the other side, slid my cardboard in there. I need to open the concaves up all the way, so before I drop those, there's a little electric motor here that pivots this arm, which lowers these bars down and opens and closes them. And that's how you adjust it from the cab, the clearance on the concaves. So we're going to open them up so that there's more space. All right, there. See, now there's a big gap up here. Those are lower, so they don't have to fall so far to be on the bottom. Anyway, Brock's here, so I'm going to let him take those out. This shield's got to come out there. You're going to need 10 millimeter to take that one out. And I'm going to pull the Gator around, bring that in and drop the oil out of it, and we'll get that oil changed and do a little maintenance on there. I was looking at it the other day, and I noticed that one of our spark plug wires is completely worn through. So I decided it was time to do some of the maintenance and change spark plug wires and probably spark plugs while we're at it and some of that stuff. All right, I got the oil draining. There's a little cover you got to take off here to get to these spark plugs. And what I noticed the other day was that on number one here, if I can get that out, there's a spot right there that's been wearing on that, and it is wore through because it was shocking the crap out of me when I was looking at it, and it was running. I touched something and it started poking me, so I decided we better just change them all. Yeah, that was fun. The old spark plugs actually don't look terrible. Definitely some wear on the electrode there, but not all dirty and screwed up. So we're gonna change them because I've got them. They come in the kit, the maintenance kit that came with an air filter and an oil filter and the spark plugs and the oil, and yeah, so we're just gonna change them. I'm not sure if those are original or not. They had we got 4,500 miles on it, so maybe. All right, Brock's got those loose on the other side. You figuring this out over here?
Yeah, just figure out what I gotta get.
There's some pins that clip on around that bar that hold the concaves in on this side, so he's got those all out, and now they'll slide out on the other side. Now they should, if you got all the bolts out, come out one at a time. All right, well, there's the threshing elements on a combine, if anybody's ever wondered what they look like. There's some chipping on them, but we ordered this combine with extended wear package on it, which is what this hard surface coating is. And I asked the Deere dealer once if that chips off, if we should replace these, and they said, well, there's a gauge and a tool to determine that, and so I bought one, and they were fine. Basically, once that coating wears off, you have new regular wear threshing elements. So I guess they're still okay, although this one looks pretty worn to me. I don't know. Whatever. Concaves are over there, so now we gotta put these ones back in. These three here, those are the original Deere round bar concaves we use for corn and soybeans. So you gotta have this rotor in neutral so it doesn't turn to allow them to slide in better. Keep pushing. Gotta get it to slide this way. Okay, pull it back. Push your end up. More. Nope, you're too high. You gotta pull it back and get this side to come down. More, lift up, lift up. There, lift up. Hold on. Pull it back. It's making this difficult. You're making this difficult. There you go. Now push it in and up.
Push it in?
In and up. Lift it up. See how easy that was? Except for you caught the edge of the cardboard, but. Well, that one's in. Fairly close. We'll get them all in there and then put the pins in to hold them in place. Well, he's got them in on this side. And they're in and relatively lined up there. So now that piece can get bolted back to them. And basically it just goes back together the way we took it apart. All right, Brock has got those in. I'm going to close that concave now, and then we're gonna make sure nothing hits and ticks or anything, and we should be good. We really should do a leveling procedure where you, re-level the whole thing, but it never changes much. So as long as nothing's ticking, hitting when the rotor spins, should be good. Always remember to remove the cardboard piece. I may have forgot that one time. Dad hasn't let me forget yet. So we got to be able to get in there to turn the rotor. You don't have to take all of them off. You just have to be able to get to the rotor. You might have to take one of these sections off. Or I would just, stick my hand in there. But it's a little hard to get to.
It's got to be around.
It is. I think we're good. Ooh, look. The neighbor's out spraying. That means we can probably spray. Yep. I'm on my way to lunch. When we get back, we're going to go start looking at fields. So Brock got our combine put back together while we were gone. I think we're done with this. For now, anyway. That was changing the concaves. And he's working on changing the axle oils on the Gator and finishing the service up on this. Like I said, we're waiting for the oil filter to show up, but it should be here pretty quick. And then that'll be good. I'm going to jump on the four-wheeler because it's running. And we're going to go scout some bean fields. Since the neighbors are out spraying, we probably could be spraying too. Well, let's see how these beans look and how the ground feels. They look pretty decent. We got a little bit of some spots where the water has ponded and they're hurting, but for the most part, these look nice. Oh yeah, these have progressed a lot since last time we were out here. So again, we're looking for the fourth node down, or one of the top four nodes anyway, from a fully expanded trifoliate. We're going to call this the top node. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, you can't see, the leaves are in the way. And you're looking for a pod that's 3/16 of an inch long. Got it right there. So it's time to spray these. These are the 3.1 maturities. The question is, can I get across the field? Let's go out here where the sprayer's actually going to run. Doesn't feel too terrible. It's drying off on top. I think we could do this field at least. I'm gonna look around some more at where we've got some more of this variety, and I think we're gonna do some spraying today. Okay, here's the next field that I wanted to come and look at. Again, we got just gorgeous looking beans, and yep, I'm already gonna say these ones are good to go because looking at the top of the plant right there, we've got a nice pod starting there. So it's time to spray these ones too. This is 3.1s that were some of the first beans we planted, so I'm not surprised that it's time. I am looking for other stuff while I'm out here other than just the stage of the beans and the ground conditions, which I think will be okay in the ground conditions. It's not dry, but I think we'll get across it with a sprayer. It's firm. But I'm looking for insect pressure, and you can see a little bit of feeding in some of these holes, or in some of the leaves, holes in the leaves there and there. Big holes like that are, could be bean beetle, it could be grasshoppers, it could be, what's the other one? Stink bugs, but they don't really chew on the leaves too much. Bean beetles and grasshoppers is the big one that make the big holes like that, or some kind of a caterpillar. But sometimes you'll see some that are almost more of a spider web pattern. Let me find one. Kind of like this, where you've got holes in the leaves, but the veins are still generally intact and it's just eating the leaf tissue out. That is Japanese beetle feeding. This field I see less Japanese beetles than I have in most of the rest of them, but it's not severe. We don't have a ton of insects feeding on any of the leaves, certainly not enough to warrant spraying. One thing I am starting to find though, and we'll look and see here, yeah, just a couple. I don't know if you guys can see, but right there and right there, and there's one down here. There's a few aphids out here. Few and far between, just a couple, but they are starting. So about 15 years ago, we started having aphids all of a sudden, where it was kind of an every other year thing. We'd have aphids really, really bad one year, and like to the point where we'd have to spray for them. And the threshold, the economic threshold for spraying aphids, they say is 250 aphids per plant. That's a lot. Excuse me, that is a lot of aphids. I would probably spray long before it got to 250. But it was an every other year thing because aphids have a natural predator out here called ladybugs. Ladybugs love to eat aphids. And so they're a good thing. And what would happen is that one year the aphid population would explode. It would start building up the population of the ladybugs. And then the next year, the ladybug population would be so heavy and thick, they would eat up all the aphids and we would never have a problem. But then they would start dying off because there wasn't enough aphids to go around to feed them. And it was a cyclical thing that went back and forth every year. For whatever reason, for the last 10 plus years, we haven't really had much aphid pressure. They're here, but not to the point where we've had to spray. And I don't know what changed, but that's a good thing. Now, also what that means is that we don't just go out here and blanket spray an insecticide, because if aphids do become a problem, we're going to kill off all the ladybugs and they'll have no predators, and then they will just come back and the population would explode. We'll end up spraying them over again. So for the most part, we usually leave the insecticide out when we're spraying fungicide on beans especially, and if we need to, we can come in with a rescue treatment later in August when we have other things that I worry about more, grasshoppers and stink bugs and bean beetles that are going to feed on the pods themselves and can cause seed quality issues and all kinds of other stuff. So no insecticide today. Man, it is humid and sticky and just out here. We are going to go spray, so I'm getting stuff ready. Our fungicide is kind of separated out here a little bit, so we're going to recirculate that for a while, let it mix up, and then we'll get the sprayer loaded up. If it wasn't going to rain tonight, I'd probably wait another day or two, but threatening storms overnight tonight and tomorrow, and we could end up with who knows how much more rain out of it. We may get another inch, or I hope we don't get another 3 inches, but you never know. So if we can get a little bit of this done today, we need to do it. Still mixing. It's going to take a minute. I also figured out I don't have enough water. I didn't even think about turning the water on this morning because I wasn't really planning on spraying, but we've got a little bit, not nearly enough, so it's going to be a minute before we can get started spraying anyway. All right, we have got enough water for our first sprayer load, so we're going to mix up a full load, 80 acres worth, 1,200 gallons, and we've got like an 82 acre field, so that'll work out just right. Okay, let's go spraying. This first field, like I said, there's about 82 acres in the field. We got enough to spray 80, so we should use basically the full tank. And then we've got 2 more smaller fields that might add up to 80 acres. We'll see. I'll add them up when we get done with this one. Brock got his work done in the shop, so he gets to ride with me this time. 6 inches of rain in 2 weeks isn't going to stop us spraying beans. Most of it's been pretty firm here. I mean, there's a little bit of mud tracking on the tires, but not much. We're rolling right through it. It's going pretty good. Starting to see more pockets like that where the water's ponded and it's setting the beans back, but the bulk of them, the vast majority, look really good. So who knows? I have no idea. We should have a pretty good fungicide response though, with hot, humid weather and plenty of moisture. Those are excellent conditions for disease. So I'm driving around on this side of the field. We're almost done and almost empty, and I noticed some bunch of dead plants out here, so we're gonna go investigate. I have a suspicion and I'm hoping I'm wrong. See these dead plants? Leaves are drying up. Oh no. Oh no. See that? That's white mold. White mold is a bad, bad thing. That's, yeah. So you can see this stuff growing on these stalks here. And I can guarantee if we split a stem open, it's gonna be all black and not healthy. I'll see if I got a knife I can do that, but that's a disease that we get in soybeans sometimes. There are some fungicides that help with it, but you got to spray them at really high rates. It's super expensive, and it's not something we deal with frequently, so we haven't been spraying for it, but this might be the year it's going to show up bad. So it tends to be pretty splotchy. You'll get patches of it throughout the field. I haven't seen it much other than on this back corner in this ridge, but it's definitely here. So the leaves will all die off. Those plants will just wither, and the pods will never fill out, more or less. You can see, like on this one here, it's just died from right there up. Well, I lost a bunch of it, but you can see that black stuff that's inside the stem as we split it. It looks like mouse turds, and that's what happens to white mold infected soybean plants. Bad deal. I seriously doubt that this fungicide application we're putting on now is going to do much for white mold. I think the Miravis does have a little bit of activity, but like I said, you've got to use really high rates, and you've got to spray them multiple times, usually starting in June. So we're too late for it to do any good. All right, we're going to load up another batch, 1,200 for 80 acres for the next field here. We're just barely keeping up with the water, so I think we'll get this one loaded up, but then we may have to wait for a little bit. Go mow lawn or something. Okay, we're loaded up again. That took a while waiting for water. We're gonna go spray this one out, probably all we're gonna get tonight. I've got 3 different fields we're gonna be in. One of them is my plot, and we're gonna start there. There's only like 15 acres, and we probably won't even get it all in the field, but I wanna spray the whole plot, so I'm gonna go start there. So this is a little tricky, because I've got these rows that come right out behind my barn in the grass without having any ends on them. I don't really want to run across the rows, although that would probably be better for the plot. But these 30-inch rows I can get between the rows, so I'm in the right spot to line up with the edge of the grass over there, so the next pass up will be a full pass. My plan is to go down, go along the perimeter, and then spray that, and then if I end up in the back, I can bring another pass up on that side, which will cover the entire plot, and I won't have to turn through these at all and keep it relatively fair. All I have to do now is not hit the field signs with the boom. We should be good. Well, my plan worked and it came out perfect, but I hate spraying 30-inch row soybeans. Whew. So with 15-inch rows, I'm gonna run a row of beans over, 2 rows, 1 on each side of the sprayer, right? Ain't no way around it. I'm gonna run the beans over. 30-inch rows, I'm supposed to stay off of the rows, but if I don't, it's terrible because I'm running down 2 rows of beans in 30-inch rows and it looks bad. It's a lot more stressful trying to stay off the rows than just hitting the auto steer button and saying, screw it, we're gonna run them over anyway, just go. That was no fun. But we did cover 14 of the 15 acres in the field, and yeah, we pretty much got it all except for that corner. And I think there's a little strip along this side. Good enough. On to the next. I think we lost some down there. Mostly just along the edge. But yeah, those beans are struggling. There are lots of turns in that field. Anyway, we got it done, basically done. The sprayer is basically empty. We got done what we need to do. My wife texted me in the middle of that field and said that her car died, and I said, what? And she didn't respond. So I go figure out what's going on with that, and I need to mow my lawn yet tonight at my seed warehouse because it hasn't been done for 2 weeks. It's been raining solid, and it's going to rain again tonight and be too wet to do it. And I have people coming over on Friday, so we got to mow the lawn. when I was sitting and waiting for water, I was adding up how many fields we've got to spray yet, and after this load that we just finished, so where we're at now, we've got somewhere between 450 and 500 acres to spray. So we're getting closer, but we've still got a fair amount to do yet, and some of it was them 3-5 beans that I sprayed an early shot on, and I was wanting to wait. Some of it probably is ready to go and needs to be done now, but we're going to have to wait until the rain tonight and tomorrow and see what happens, and maybe by Monday or Tuesday we'll be able to get back in the fields. I don't really know. Depends on how much rain we get. All right, well, we got a lot done today. Got some spraying done, got the combine concaves changed, serviced the Gator, lawn mowed, all kinds of stuff. We'll see what happens with the rain tonight. Hopefully we don't get too much, but I won't know that until tomorrow, I guess. And we'll see what's going on then. I've got a little more cleaning up I need to do down to the seed warehouse there for the field day that's coming on Friday. I need to make some labels for some of my signs because some of those agronomic trials, I just need to label them so we know what they are as we're walking through them. And if I have time, I might clean up that seed treater. That's something that's on my mind, of bringing that down here and doing a little cleaning on that. So maybe tomorrow will be a good day for it. I don't know. We will see. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, evening, night, morning, whenever you're watching this. And we'll see you again tomorrow.